like there's an arrogance in the Black community that you somehow think you have the power to forgive Candace Owens. Candace Owens will be on a jet, Mr. Shay Shay, and so will Mr. Roland Martin. She don't have to. That's I hate that she's wallowing in the mud with these people. Like
We're forgetting that most Black slaves who are still mentally enslaved, they only think that we're all supposed to think alike. We're all supposed to be the same Black person. And once anyone comes against, not even comes against it, but if anyone has any other thoughts outside of this mentally enslaved perspective, you're the enemy. You're with the...
Can you help me understand this?
I wasn't ready for that.
Sometimes, and it's happened before, people in our community forget that they're Black. And they try to appease a group of people that's probably never going to embrace them. And once they realize that, guess who's the first group to take them back?
I don't know her.
You know, I ain't say nobody's name, Amanda. You don't even know who I'm talking about.
I don't know.
How you know who I'm talking about? But we've seen this happen before. Rest his soul, O.J. Simpson. You know, he had the famous quote, "I'm O.J., I ain't Black." Even Michael Jackson went through what he went through, rest his soul.
Right.
Even Kanye had to be reminded. And now Miss Owens, I don't want no Black pilots, I don't want this, I don't want that. And now we can't keep off our Black media stations.
Cool. All right. So that was Shannon Sharpe. Last week, he premiered the latest episode of Club Shay Shay with Amanda Seales. That was the actress that was sitting with him. During the discussion, the actress was more than candid about a variety of topics, including experiencing racism as a child, her short stint as a member of Flowetry, and her thoughts on Candace Owens recently going on a lot of urban Black media. She compared Candace to OJ. I mean, was that a fair comparison, Shelly?
I don't even know how those two go together. First of all, just like Trump, these people are enamored with Candace Owens too. Candace Owens rings space in their mind just as much as Trump does. So again, I don't have much to say about Miss Amanda. She looked crazy to me, just sitting there. But okay.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Crystal?
Yeah, she is just the most annoying person, and then they always bring it back to the Black. I was really sad that Shay Shay, Shannon Sharpe, was like, yeah, you know, Candace Owens, you know, is trying to be in Black media. First of all, I don't agree that Candace Owens should have never done this, so this should not even be a conversation. But at the same time, this is America, Jack. She can be wherever and whenever she's invited. And if you think that if her going on your show, if you thought Cat Williams would blow it up, Shannon Sharpe, stop being dramatic. Go ahead and have Candace Owens on your show. And then you will really see something blow up since you love Black people so much. I love Blacks.
Yeah, I want you guys to take a look at this next clip, and then I want to bring you all in on this. This is clip number 7. Part of this here.
Black media stations. When before she gave us her butt to kiss. Now, if I'm lying, if I'm speaking out of turn, people, y'all correct me. But y'all know I'm telling the truth. Now, you're talking about somebody that's always uplifted this community. And I was one of the first guys that had a viral moment with Cat Williams. And they couldn't wait. They couldn't wait to attack me. But Candace has given y'all her butt to kiss for 2 decades. And the moment, what they doing? They can't fire me. They can't fire me. The hell you say? Now look at her.
It's not her fault.
Whose fault is it? Oh, no. Let's not take that blame.
The spaces that let her back in.
Huh?
The spaces that let her back in.
Oh, okay. But that's how we are. We're very forgiving people.
Who taught us to be that?
We do.
Who taught us that version of forgiveness? Do I need to do the lesson?
No, because I know.
Them slave owners taught us that version of forgiveness. They gave us a Bible called the Slave Bible. And this Bible had parts of it taken out. It had the parts of uprisings taken out. It taught about forgiveness because they needed to make it okay in their minds.
No matter how bad I treat you, at some point in time, I need you to forgive me for the wrongs I've done against you.
Because they had convinced themselves that it was still okay to keep people enslaved whose souls were saved.
Yeah.
Even though they knew that that was counterproductive to the teachings that they had learned. So, you know, we are oftentimes forgiving to our own detriment.
So I want to get your thoughts on this, T. I mean, what did Candace Owens do to them? What are they talking about here? Why does Candace Owens need to be forgiven? That's what I'm confused on.
We're forgetting that most black slaves who are still mentally enslaved, they only think that we're all supposed to think alike. We're all supposed to be the same black person. And once anyone comes against, not even comes against it, but if anyone has any other thoughts outside of this mentally enslaved perspective, you're the enemy. You're with the white people. The white people plant this or whatever. So now they're saying, oh, we allowed Candace Owens back. She never went anywhere. She was born black. Even though she has a white husband, she was still born black. And you don't allow anyone back into the space. Yeah, you can cancel them, but she was never canceled because she never did anything wrong. So here we go with this same shucking and jiving that they're doing for the black people. And just read the body language. Like the lady, she's a lady, and she pulls a Fannie Willis on her, sitting back like this and doing all this extra stuff when it be a lady. And people are saying, oh, she's so intelligent.
No, she's not.
Is that what you call intelligence?
Well, she did go to
Being a slave?
Yeah. I want to get your thoughts on this, Yana.
I don't know if I just made sense what I said, but
Right, but again, that was a good point
many
you made,
thoughts.
T. Yeah, I mean, Yana, this idea that Candace Owens cannot go on black media. I mean,
and you have to be careful with your answers because apparently.
I know, right?
the arrogance.
What are your thoughts there?
I mean, it's the racism of these black people. I'm so tired of racism in general. And Candace Owens, first they were like, she was anti-black. When? I was following Candace Owens from the beginning. She was never anti-black. She was amazing in Congress when she spoke that, right now we actually have less racism than when her grandpa was young, when things were actually bad.
And he was a sharecropper, I think.
And she acknowledged the issues that were happening in the past, but she actually, the way I saw it when she started, is that she was uplifting black people. She wanted black people to understand that they're being fooled.
Well, now she's hating Jews, so she's
Right.
full circle.
No,
I mean,
I'm just being sarcastic.
I mean, I'm disappointed in Candace too. I mean, I thought she wasn't tribal. And so now that she, went against Jews publicly, then she now is trying to, I guess, appease black people. That's what it seems like to me. And appease black Democrats. Like, that's what I
would
think.
say that. I don't think I wouldn't agree that she's trying to appease them. She's just broadening her audience.
No, she's definitely trying to.
She did not switch up her message when she went on
Breakfast Club. She
Breakfast
did.
Club. She didn't switch
They
up
got her to say that racism was real. They got her say it.
Because
They got her to pretend that she knew the
Black
theme
culture.
song to all the
Yes,
This is foolish.
she knew. No, she didn't. She
didn't.
did not
She
know.
didn't know.
She didn't know it. She failed.
foolish.
And so I just kind of feel
But so
like
what?
I feel like there's an arrogance in the black community that you somehow think you have the power to forgive Candace Owens. Candace Owens will be on a jet, Mr. Shay Shay, and so will Mr. Roland Martin. She don't have to. That's I hate that she's wallowing in the mud with these people like the Amanda Seales who let you back in. First of all, we don't, and they hold you by the balls. That's why I say so much, and I just cut myself off. I say so much, I'm not black, because they hold you by the balls with the, you're black, so you have to do this. And she almost needs to say, I don't want any parts of that. Period.
Well, to me, it's like she's damned if she do, she's damned if she doesn't. You know, it's like initially when she came, she has her stance and her opinion on certain issues, and I honestly don't think that's changed much.
No, that has not
And
changed.
so now she's just what we all should be doing as conservatives, as Republicans. You reach across to different people trying to carry your message of freedom. This is what we're supposed to do. She actually, when she started out, she was doing this. She was inviting people onto her show on PragerU. Some people said no because they didn't want to be seen with her. This is kind of like how divisive we've gotten now. We won't even talk to people of opposition or on the other side. She's always been the type to do that. And so now she's doing it more since she got let go from Daily Wire. And now they're saying, oh, no, you're trying to placate us, or you're trying to right. So, I mean, what can she do?
It speaks something about them, actually, as well. It's because, I mean, what about having Black people that think differently on the show, on their show?
Exactly.
So why does it have to do with the skin color? Like, why can't they just say, well, I think one way, you know, she's also a Black person who has different opinions. But no, they make it all about race. And that is, I'm so annoyed. Like, I've been living in this country for over 20 years, and I thought it would be over by now, but it's getting worse.
400 years.
And that's
Continue to do so.
And he is Blanchard actually talks about that, and this is why I say she should not have done it, because KJ, I know you desire that, and I know you probably desire that tea, but there is no honorable way to appeal to Black culture. I'm serious. You have to bend your message. You have to. They almost force you and require you to say racism is real.
That is the requirement.
That's the requirement. There's no honorable way for a conservative to stick to their conservative message and appeal to Black people, because for whatever reason, they don't understand that the conservative message is not a Black message.
So
it's not.
So Black people, this is what I said earlier about, it's really about the party, Democrats, the left. This is what they think about us, right? So, and what Black people really have to come to the conclusion is that, am I going to choose to be Black and accept all of this racist stuff, or am I going to choose to exercise my freedom of thought, my freedom of speech, my freedom and right to carry? I got to put that in there, right? I mean, are we going to do that, or are we not? Am I just going to be? I want to be the cool Black kid in the block. So it gets to that point. It gets us nowhere, because all of these quote unquote Black media, they typically think the same way. So for me, at least, it starts in my mind. If I can't have a free thought, even if it opposes my conservative friends, people that I love and care for, if I can't have a free thought that just may not jive with conservatism, what the hell? I'm a free person. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I can think whatever thoughts I want to think. I can get to work it through. That is my right. That is my God-given right. That I get to do that. I get to do that. So I'm not willing to give that up just to say I'm a part of the Black club.
But let me say this, if I can jump in. How do we all, I mean, I know you, Shelley, were a conservative for a very long time, but and you too, T, I believe, but we all, us three, I believe, are fairly new conservatives. If we don't continue to speak freedom, to speak on these Democrat channels, on these Democrat programs, then we won't wake people up. I don't believe that you have to bend in order to speak to the Black community. You just have to continue to speak the truth, and you have to do it in these spaces because they continue to push lies. They continue to push one narrative of Black people. So if they don't see people like the Candace Owens, like the T's, like the Shelleys, like the Crystals, then people will never wake up. They need to see us in these spaces. So we must continue to speak about freedom, about color blindness, about, well, we're all Black, but we can think differently, diversity of thought. We must continue to speak it.
The challenge to that is that we're not invited in those spaces.
Yes.
Because there was a White House Correspondents' dinner just last week, and there was so many Democrats, and I know some of those people, and I was like, well, what can we do as Black conservatives to get in that space? Because that's really what it's about. Now they have a gay Black man as the White House Correspondents Association president, so we already know how that's going to go. And then there's an event that they have connected to this called Politics and Inclusion. There are no conservatives in this event. There are no people other than the Democrats and other than the same old people. And it's not like we have to be in those spaces, but now we have to create our own. To answer your question, we have to create our own spaces. Like, that's why I like Pop in Politics, because we have our own voice, and it's a necessary voice, and we have to be aware and prepared.
But see, that is why Candace is who she is.
Right.
And this is what we need to remember. This is why it's not Candace Owens entering these spaces. They are inviting her into these spaces because she is who she is. Right. She is the name. She has gotten a lot. She brings views to these people. And again, it all goes back to not Black, not white, but green. They know that if Candace Owens comes on these shows, she is going to bring in that advertising dollars. She's going to bring in the views, which brings in them money. Yeah. So that's why they're asking her. Yeah. And that's why nobody's asking Amanda Seales to come anywhere, because she's a C-level at best actress. She's not a funny comedian. She's a nutcase. Yeah. Now, at this time, she's even come out against Shannon Sharpe since that interview.
Yeah. She came out against him because he kept checking.
Yeah, she's come out against him since. So
because
nobody likes her.
diversity of thought is not allowed in those circles. Right? Yeah. Like, the way that they talked about Candace is like, it's like she did something absolutely terrible. Like,
like O.J. Simpson.
We have to forgive her.
And he didn't.
Like she's what did she do that they have to forgive her for? She was speaking about how Black people need to be self-sufficient, how they have to be self-starters, not rely on welfare. And have
she said
families.
none of those things on the Breakfast Club.
Right, but that's how she started, and that's what she needs to be forgiven for. So what are they promoting? What kind of
heresy?
Right.
Leftism is a religion, so she committed heresy.
Exactly, and that's my thing is I definitely think that she should be on Black spaces, but she should keep her
message,
revolt message. Like, you remember the revolt message? She got killed for that, but I think that's she has to stick to that. You can't go on the Breakfast Club and then forget all of that just to be hanging out with them, doing their little Black games. And
I mean, aside from Candace Owens, like, just us, like, I don't know if you've been in these spaces, but I just had a whole roundtable conversation just last week with some, I thought, Black intelligent people. But then when we started talking about slavery and all this stuff, I'm like, why are we bringing it back to this? And they say, oh, Sankofa. I don't know if you're familiar, but Sankofa is you have to reach back to what has happened before in order to move forward. And I'm like, we've done that so long. Where has that gotten us? So, I mean, they have the same message. They're together in their message, but they can't break out of it. And we have to infiltrate those spaces to tell them, hey, there is freedom. We got to be there, Rosa Parks. There's freedom out there. There's freedom. You don't have to be enslaved.
You're right. And speaking of infiltration, I want to move on to illegals.